This week, we're talking about RESPA and TILA. More distinctly, we are talking about why is it structured or laid out the way that it is on Apex Prime Education. Now, remember, we spent 4 years developing the structure for this program to help you guys learn the information quicker, for you guys to retain it longer, and to pass your exam on the first time. That is really important to us. There's a lot of programs that are out there, but we focus on core learning strategies to actually help you pass. And we understand that a lot of people probably haven't been in school for a while. You're probably having trouble with how to study and what to study and when to study. That's our focus, okay? We want to put everything forward for you to be successful. That's why this is laid out the way it is. So let's go ahead and jump into federal law. Now you'll see we have RESPA first, that's the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. And then we have TILA, the Truth in Lending Act. Now, you should notice or have at least some sort of grasp on this now because you've done your education, that TILA, which was established in 1968, actually came before RESPA, which was established in 1974. So you might be thinking, well, why would you structure it where you should learn it this way, right? And that's what we've done. Just take a step, let's take a pause. You'll see this is the exact way that you should learn it. You should learn it from left to right up here, and then from left to right going down. It's designed distinctly for that reason. And I know that when I was going through the programs and I was getting my real estate license and I was getting my broker's license and I was getting my loan license, nothing was more frustrating to me than to have material that was not in the right area, to have to jump over and draw lines and try to find the correct way. We believe in learning linearly and logically. How would you go through this? Now, even though TILA came out first, and you can learn it that way and then learn about RESPA, which came out second, we believe in learning the process from its entirety. So let's talk about RESPA. What is RESPA? What does it cover? Well, there's a lot that goes into it, but overarching, it deals with the real estate transaction. Okay, so we click in here, there's a lot going on, but ultimately, if we click in the program, it's going to show us the stuff, and it's going to have us go through it, but it deals with the real estate transaction. And what that means is when you get a client, so let's talk about the real estate settlement. So let's talk about the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. The reason this goes first linearly is because the first thing that you're going to do when you get a client, or there's a consumer or a borrower, however you're going to hear it, is you're going to have them fill out an application. They have to fill out a loan application. This is going to go through that process, but also the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act and a lot of these federal laws, in fact, are designed as a protection mechanism. So you're going to see that overarching concept of protection, and we're going to mention like it quite a bit in each one of these, but ultimately this deals with that real estate transaction, getting that application. What is a valid application? What are the components? What are some of the disclosures? What does the timing look like? Things like that. Okay. Then once that application is done, and remember that application is to get a pre-approval done, a pre-approval. Not a pre-qualification, which we'll talk about at a later time, but a pre-qualification is not a valid application, which is under RESPA. A pre-approval means you have a valid application that has all of the required components, and then you move forward in that process. Once you move forward in that process and they want to actually get a home, then you have to send that information into the underwriter or the lender that you're going to be working with. And that's when you're going to go through sort of the information that deals with TILA. Now, understand that a lot of these overlap, and we're going to see that in a future section called the Truth in Lending. And we're going to see that in another section called TRID. So there's a lot of sort of overarching ideas here, but primarily, when credit is pulled, that's sort of when TILA starts to come in when we're doing our pre-approval. But more so, we're going to start to see this process when it's finally with the lender, and the lender is doing a lot of stuff on their end, and that's when TILA is going to come in, and that's when the disclosures need to be happening, and that's when all of the requirements and timing and things like that come into place. So sure, you can learn about when you're with the lender first and then go back to the application, but that doesn't really make sense, does it? So even though TILA comes first and then RESPA, we laid it out so you'll learn RESPA, you learn the majority that deals with the application process, the real estate transaction. Again, remember there's overlap, and then you're sort of moving into TILA, which does deal with the overarching loan process, and when credit is pulled and credit consumer protection or credit client protection or credit borrower protection, that's when that's going to happen. So hopefully this helps. Follow the program the way it's designed. I promise it's going to make your life a lot easier.